What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. Hey, I just bought this chair. I want to show it to you. I'm pretty excited. I've always kind of wanted one of these before. And I would do the unboxing. I kind of thought I'd give myself a little bit of head start on it. And it comes in a big box. And when I ordered it, it said in the description some assembly may be required. So I assumed these arms wouldn't be attached, maybe the top and bottom cushion. But it comes just like this, which is awesome. It actually comes fully assembled, wrapped in cellophane, and then just in a big cardboard box. So the setup was super easy because it didn't include any. As you can see, it's aluminum here, and here's the long version. Is that I don't know how many years ago, but Restoration Hardware had a line of Aviator chairs and desks and things like that, and I really loved them. They were super expensive, like thousands of dollars for a desk, $1,000 for a chair like this. And, you know, but I liked it. I liked the look. I'm not into aviation, but I love this kind of finished or kind of unfinished aluminum. You know, it looks like the rivets on an airplane. Obviously, that's what it's meant to look like. I think this is actually called or referred to as an Aviator side chair. You can see that it's just for looks, though, right? I mean, there's no, the rivets aren't flush, and the paneling here is just for design. It's totally unnecessary. You just have a big sheet wrapped around there and no rivets, but it looks really cool. And then one day I was out visiting my buddy Chris Mahoney, and in his apartment he had a bunch of aluminum furniture, some from the Restoration Hardware collection, and I was like, man, you know, checking it out in person, I was like, it looks even better in person than, you know, it did in the pictures, and I was smitten. And I've kind of been on the lookout for things like this ever since, and this chair is now actually pretty affordable. Now, I don't know what the brand is. It just was listed as Aviator chair, and I'm really happy with it. The color here, and I don't think any of this is leather. It's kind of like in a vinyl. It's very glossy, pretty slippery, but seems very robust. Seems like it should hold up well, but it's obviously in a brown, and I think it's actually called light brown. Now, they did have it in black. I wish they actually had it in like a camel, kind of like a khaki or a tan to kind of match my other office furniture, but this was kind of the lightest color that they had, and I think it looks great. It has a very bomber jacket look, which actually I think helps make it even look a little bit more like that aviation theme. As you can see, that aluminum panel wraps all the way around. If we kind of do a little aerial shot on it, you can see the arms kind of circle around, so you get kind of this parabola, and it just kind of looks very authentic. And I've never seen this chair in person, so I was kind of wondering, you know, based on the pictures, is it going to be really tight? And even a big guy like me, it should be no problem to get in here. It is actually quite low, quite a bit lower than I was expecting. And that's great. It's going to be very much like a lounge chair, and I can tell you that the bottom cushion here is quite long. So I don't know if you'll be able to tell here, but it's really quite long. So even though you have kind of this reclined back seat, it's kind of like almost like a hot rod seat, in that you're going to sit really low, but you have kind of a long piece of real estate here to kind of stretch out and really recline back and put your arms out there. And I love the fact that the material extends all the way to the back here, so even if you have your elbows back really far, you're not going to be uncomfortable hitting on metal or anything like that. And so, you know, this will be the view from where you're sitting in it, but I think it should just be a nice, comfortable chair. You can see down here in the back, the two side panels just kind of flank the chair, just like any real chair, but they kind of curve in, and so this whole back piece is just covered in the material. Now, I do want to kind of just lift it up here, because as I pulled it out of the box, and I thought, man, all right, so the issue is that there's going to be no feet on the bottom of this thing, and there are little tiny feet. I kind of actually expected them to be maybe 3 or 4 inches. I don't want to scratch up my floor too badly here. 3 or 4 inches like long, but they're not. They're just like little kind of button feet. And so that's kind of nice. They're already installed here, and you don't have to worry about that either. But this is really just cool. And I think this would be great for side chairs in a living room or something like that. I'm going to put it in my office so that you can kind of have a guest sitting there talking, chewing the fat kind of a deal. But it just looks really cool and is pretty comfortable to sit in. All right, so here I am just kind of enjoying the chair, sinking into it. And as you can see here, even as a bigger guy, plenty of space. I could rest my arms here, have a book, have a drink, something like that. But what I really like is that the arms are splayed out, that there's a lot of space, because as you're kind of lounging, kind of just stretching out. The armrests are right in this right position. They're firm, but very comfortable. And again, you know, there's nothing sharp or hard that you're actually resting on. So really, really comfortable. And I will tell you that it's nice to have this long seat bottom. I can really recline back. It's a little bit slippery in terms of the material. If it were fabric or something, you'd probably be held in place a little bit better. But you know, it's just kind of my body weight and the shape of the chair and yourself just kind of makes you fall into a nice, really comfortable fetal position. I will also say though that even though the back of this chair is pretty low, and as I'm slouched down here, it's right about my shoulders. If I put my head back, it's actually resting on the top, which is still angled back portion here, and I could actually just fall asleep. And this is really comfortable, and I was actually kind of wondering if that would be the case, because especially when the cushions are really low, there's nothing to support your head, you would be flopping around. But in this case, I actually could just fall asleep in this bad boy while watching TV or reading a book or smoking a cigar or having a glass of whiskey. But even sitting up here, really, really comfortable, and I can just focus, but you don't feel claustrophobic in it at all. Now, I will say there is a matching ottoman for these things, and it's also kind of aluminum lined with the material like this on the padded top, and I can see that being a really perfect accessory, because this is definitely a chair that you could you know, recline and lounge in, because especially it's sitting so low. But the ottoman, it was a couple $100 or something, so I don't know if I can find a good deal on that somewhere, but that would definitely be a welcome addition to this, because this is definitely a lounging chair. Great chair for side chairs in a room, in a guest room, in an office, man cave, something like that. If you like aviation styled equipment and furniture, this is going to float your boat. I really, really like it. I'd love to have the whole line of this stuff, so we'll see what we can do about picking some of that up. But check it out. I'll put a link to it in the description and some of the other aviation themed furniture. Peter von Panda, out.